So how do you want to do this? Do you want to just talk Furiosa and like go through how we rank the Mad Max?
Sure. Yeah, I'm down for that. I
So what
guess,
did you think?
yeah. Um, it's a little bit, I mean, we all have the same background, I think, for Mad Max nowadays, where it's like, Fury Road, sick as fuck. And then you watch the other ones and you're like, yeah, those are good. They're fine.
Yeah.
But Furiosa, I had a great time. It was one of the better movie experiences of the year for me so far. I dare say it surpassed Dune as far as
Oh,
like
it
immersive
it blew Dune out of the
storytelling.
water, in my
You think
opinion.
so? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like hard. It happened with the first Dune too, where it's like that's a great movie, that's pretty good, and then like you get months away from it, and you're like, it's kind of. I hate to use the word sterile because it's
I know
often
exactly what
used,
you're saying.
but it's
Yeah.
like it's just kind of like bare bonesy in ways that like when you watch Furiosa, you're like, that's a dude who doesn't give a shit and he's going for it and he doesn't have like this formalism at all that is like dragging down some other stories and it
And
was
what's
fun.
what's what's so great about this one in both of them, Fury Road, this one, all the Mad Maxes really, but like everything that he creates, these crazy characters that dress this crazy way and these crazy machines, they all feel like they're made in like a hot box. But then it's not just a thing where it's like, that's cool, but it doesn't belong here. These feel like they belong in the world. So like
Hmm.
everything works. I don't know. It's such a
And
rich world that he created.
it is. And with Furiosa, I feel like it's like the deepest like exploration
Oh,
of the
yeah.
lore in the world. And I was on board for it. I think more so than some other people might be. Because I rewatched Fury Road and I was like, great movie. It didn't like elevate to like what I was hoping again because it was like kind of longer than I remember. Or I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is like Furiosa and Fury Road are almost like neck and neck for me as far as like I like them both in the same amount, I think, where it's like Fury Road's is contained, go for it, holy shit. It's shot like the way it's shot aged a little bit in my watch through, I guess. And then Furiosa is like this modern, like punchier. Obviously there's some more CGI in it, which, you can kind of tell a little bit, but like it just felt more interesting and more cool. It just like grabbed me a little more, honestly. So,
They're almost two different films, but I mean, Furiosa. So I watched Fury Road the day that I watched Furiosa just because I wanted to like refresh because I remember liking Fury Road when I saw it in theaters. And then once it came out of theaters, I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, it's still a badass movie. But it never really like hit that, the 5-star threshold. But so I rewatched it and I was like, I get it. So it's definitely like
it
there.
reached
I
it.
don't. It did. I don't know. It's just like something about the simplicity of it, but at the same time, you know the characters' motives, what they're feeling, just with like the grunts and the eye contact that they're giving to each other.
Mm.
But at the same time, it's the marriage of the CGI and the practical throughout the whole film is just kind of crazy. Like the dust storm that
It
they go
is.
through, insane.
Yeah.
And then the action sequences are clearly insane. Those, I mean, there's books written about it. It's studied as like how did George Miller do it? Like, a guy who was a fucking doctor was just like, I want to make movies one day, and he
He gets
creates
weird
these
with it.
things.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it definitely elevated up to that 5-star status. So then I watched Furiosa, and I was like, damn, that's fucking good. But is it as good as Fury Road? So then I rewatched Fury Road again when I got home,
Just to be sure.
just to be sure. And yeah, it's right neck and neck, but Fury Road still I think takes the cake of like this is what it this is the standard. Furiosa
Pinnacle.
almost gets there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why I rewatched the old ones besides the first one. But Road
Mhm.
Warrior, it made me like respect just how much was practical in that movie. And then
Yeah.
similarly with Fury Road, you can make the same like argument of like, yeah, that might be like the last time somebody goes that balls to the wall in reality, and like
Yeah.
Furiosa feels like a little more packaged and a little more like Hollywood, I guess you'd say, where it's like maybe it's Anya Taylor Joy too, is like it just feels a little more like star studded, whereas the other ones had the stars, but it was like I guess people didn't have the expectation level that they did with this one or something, But
Right. Fury Road just kind of came out of nowhere. I think for everybody when it like hit theaters, it was just kind of like,
Oh
this
fuck.
is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't think
So
we thought George Miller was old and he was done, but holy shit. No, he's got
he's
some more
younger than
going.
ever, baby.
Yeah. 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 I mean, Chris Hemsworth obviously great in the
Oh
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Having a lot of fun. Didn't really feel like threatening, but I liked that character a
Crazy
lot.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how like he had his little cape and you start in this like white, like angelic look of him with the people he's with, and then it gets like the red on it, the black on it, and like it slowly becomes like tainted, like the
Yeah.
wasteland. It's like just this degradation. And I mean, in Furiosa, like shit doesn't get better. It's just like
No,
this universe, like there's no happy ending in this unit. It
no
just like
hope,
keeps
baby.
going, and like you're fucked. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that I really enjoyed about Furiosa, like we mentioned it or you mentioned it earlier, was that like it actually adds richness to this world. Like it gives good backstory, but it's not like one of those like it didn't feel out of place. Like, when Black Panther came out for me, it felt out of place to start a backstory with a character we've seen in two different movies, right? But with this one, it just felt like it added to the whole world of what Mad Max is, the wasteland,
Yeah,
because not only is it, I mean, clearly it's Furiosa's story, but within that story, you're getting more context of everything. Bullet Farm,
right.
the fucking what Gas Town, everything is has
So
context and
good.
how it, what their purposes are, the trading that happens, how people stay alive in the wasteland. I don't know
Yeah,
how it all works.
yeah, for sure.
So,
I actually like that too. I mean, I think like the second chapter is like them getting to the Citadel and like
mhm.
challenging the War Boys and whatever, and Morton Joe, and that was like my favorite parts of the movie. Honestly, it was like
Yeah,
seeing like the story we know collide with like this new story, and
yeah,
like the action sequences. I mean, I don't want to say like they got old, but like they're phenomenal. Like they're
oh yeah,
amazing actors. Like they're like I shouldn't be like even talking shit, but like I thought the movie got a little long, and like we did a couple of the tanker scenes where I was like, these movies are really tight and they got like a lot of like punch going for them. And I mean, this is the longest one, and to me, I kind of felt it a little bit towards the end.
yeah.
But like when the
No,
fifth chapter hit, I could feel the theater being like, how much is it? Like, how
yeah,
many chapters are in this? Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean the runtime didn't really bother me. I get the argument with like, okay, we've seen what is this like the fourth tanker
yeah,
tanker fight sequences, but like I guess what makes it stand out, which each one of them stands out, is just like the different mechanics, I guess, that is happening during it. Like in Fury Road, you have the polecats, which they're just dropping bombs with their sticks. These you had like the people on motorcycles and they pull parachutes. Now they're flying and
yeah.
they
The
got
flying
these,
dudes
I
were
don't know.
sick.
It's just like all these different things, like I said, that were these machines and characters that were created in this world, and they feel like they belong, and it
Yeah,
works really well, and it gives it a different dynamic, even though it's the same from fucking all the way back to the Road Warrior with that tanker. You know,
right. Yeah, I mean
everything,
that's the
every
start of it.
tanker sequence is its own unique experience. So
Right.
I guess I really like that, and I liked how the tanker sequence, the second one we get is at the Bullet Farm,
Mhm.
and it was Bullet Farm, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but like it's him driving the tanker through Bullet Farm to try to get out while Anya Taylor Joy is sniping all these
Mhm.
people. Which another thing for George Miller, you always know where you stand in an action sequence. Like there's no confusion about
The geography of
where
it
the
all.
entrance. Yeah, it's all perfectly staged. It's crazy that an 80-year-old man is capable of just making these like sequences that are so lively and so like engaging. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's some of the best like modern action.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I just like respect somebody who is given the money that they're given and makes something like elevating the craft,
yeah,
or like just putting the work in, because like you said, like the action you feel every moment, and you feel like the decisions and like the geography of it all, and it like I don't know. Movies nowadays are like lazy and they're like you felt those punches and that was enough, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's just not. You need to like get into the sequence, get out of the sequence in a meaningful way, and then have like the
yeah,
middle meat ground where we feel it all, you know. And
right, definitely.
what's like the knockers at the end of the fucking tanker? What is the
Yeah,
word for it? Yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's like paying off these like moments of action with this outlandish fucking tech, like you're saying. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I think also for these movies, the highlight is like the universe for me. It's such a wild
definitely.
fucking like, and
It's so
the
unique.
it's so yeah, 100%. And like the religious undertones in the universe are so cool
Hmm.
with like the historian guy who's basically just like whispering like fucking car jargon to them as if it's like this unspoken like a spoken word that you
Right.
have to like hear, and then he's just like Webster's dictionarying words for Dementis as like
Yeah. On the
law.
spot. Yeah.
It's just like so fucking weird, and it's just like is an extension of humanity, but not anything we would ever think or know, and
Yeah.
like
And
insane.
it's so interesting too. Like we've seen so many post-apocalyptic and apocalyptic or wasteland movies, but they all feel kind of, I don't know, cookie cutter is the right word, but like they feel the same. This one is like stands out as like this is only in George Miller's mind and he is putting it on screen and I'll accept it. Like, okay, sure, in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, everyone turns to BDSM. Sweet.
Yeah,
I'm there for it.
it's about
You
how
freaks.
badass and weird do you look, because that's how you
Yeah.
get the respect. You need to
Right.
be playing with a nipple ring in a suit
Yeah.
with a fucking like dildo hanging out, and then
Yep.
you'll get respect.
Yep.
Just
And
so
that's how you
fucking
put it
crazy.
all out there.
Yeah. God, so weird, so wild. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I was gonna give it 4.5 to match Fury Road. I think it's a movie I'll rewatch, obviously, and it might age better in time too,
Hmm.
because I think the chapters actually worked for me a lot more than I
Yeah.
think most people might give it credit for. But I don't know. I like it. I like it, like the saga of it all, and I think it's like top 5 for me right now of the year. Like I said, it passed Dune. It's one of the best experiences in the theater this year.
Yeah.
Great time.
No, I mean, spoiler for my list, but it's number one right now for me. I mean,
Okay.
best theater experience. I mean, it's the one I want to go back to the most. Like Dune, when I got the tickets the second time, because the first time I watched it wasn't in IMAX. It's not that I dreaded it, but I wasn't like looking forward to being like, yeah, I'm going to go see Dune in IMAX again. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, I want to go to an IMAX experience and watch it, you know? But
Do it. I watched it in IMAX. It was definitely worth it for sure.
oh my God. Yeah, I wish there was nobody in this part of Texas where I live respects movies enough to be like, let's take it seriously, you know?
Yeah.
Let's at least put one IMAX screen out there.
Yeah.
But
That
whatever.
sucks, man. Yeah, I definitely lucked out. I got one 5 minutes from me, so I take advantage
Ah,
for sure.
that's yeah,
It's
lucky.
nice. It's a perk. All right, you want to run through your rankings on the Mad Max uh,
Yeah.
franchise?
So um it's fitting that we watched Straw Dogs, I think, last time we
Yeah,
talked, because I think that really falls in line with the Mad Max, the first original Mad Max.
mm, I see that.
It just felt like the cackling and just like the bad guys were just like, let's push over this garbage can. We're fucking badass. And then
Yeah,
they laugh and
sniveling and
scurry off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it felt kind of like that. So that was my number. That's not my number five. How many are there? Two. Four. It is my number five.
Five.
Yeah, that
Okay.
is my
Yeah.
number five. Yeah.
Yeah. It
So
was,
that's
honestly, I guess if we just go back and forth, the last place was the toughest spot for me to
yeah.
choose
I
in the
feel that.
rankings.
Yeah.
And I landed on Beyond Thunderdome for my 5. It's not a bad movie. It's just not anything special. It does like a lot of the same stuff that Road Warrior does more successfully.
Hmm.
And it felt like I was watching Hook, like
Hmm.
Steven Spielberg's Hook with like the little fucking boys or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just checked out somewhere in there, and I respect the old Mad Max, the original, in just different ways, I guess, more than Thunderdome. So
Yeah.
just made it 5.
It
Original's number 5 for me.
definitely. Yeah. It definitely feel like the original was like its proof of concept. Like, look what I can do
Yeah.
with like 10 grand and a couple cases of beer. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is sick.
In a car that I bought
And
myself.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
so I definitely respect the grindhouse aspect of it. It just, it was tough between these two because my fourth is Beyond Thunderdome because I expected this one to be my last just because it is like regarded as one of the worst and it's George Miller only directs part of it because his producing partner died during it. So like
Damn.
someone else stepped in to co-direct
I see.
or whatever. And you kind of feel that because this is the only Mad Max with hope and like happiness and like kids
Yeah.
doing kids stuff.
Almost like a
It's
Spielberg
PG
esque like
13.
ending too. It feels it's
Yeah,
like not Miller ish, but yeah.
yeah, definitely. Which what it's a shame because the first half of this, like up to the Thunderdome part where they're fighting, is like this is awesome. Like I'm really enjoying myself. I was locked in, and then the kids happened, and I was just kind of like, okay, I'm on board.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids kept happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of checked out when they were walking through the sand for a while. But when they got back to Bartertown, I was just like, okay, this is still pretty good. Like it's fun, it's whimsical. They're hitting people with pans, sure,
Yeah.
it's fine. But yeah,
I think
I
maybe
don't
I
know.
was just like mad maxed out a little bit watching them in the row because like by the end by Thunderdome I was like I just don't. These are it's
Yeah,
not as good. I just like didn't really care.
I
But
understand. Definitely.
yeah, also the original too. It's kind of cool if you like look at them in order now that like it's like the very earliest story of like the society falling apart,
Yeah.
and you barely get like none of the apocalypse shit. But then you get to Road Warrior, and it's just like, what the fuck happened to this
Yeah.
world? You know, like
Right. How
so
much
it's
time has
yeah,
passed?
it's kind of like a vestige of like an older apocalypse Mad
Yeah.
Max. So it's a little
What
bit more interesting, but
what I guess I can also appreciate about the original Mad Max is it kind of like gives you that insight into Max and kind of you understand like in
yeah,
Road Warrior and Thunderdome and even in Fury Road with this different Max. Obviously, it's like a reboot, but like you understand why deep down he feels like he has to do the right thing, because he
mm-hmm.
was at one point a lawman, he was a family man, he had,
Had
morals. He just,
feelings.
yeah,
He was
the
eating
world
normal
chewed him up
food.
and spit him out. And
Yeah,
so that's how he turned
that's
into,
yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
So I
but
assume. Well, actually, I don't know. What's your number three?
that would be Road Warrior.
Okay, we probably have the
Yeah,
same list from here on out,
yeah,
honestly, because mine's Road Warrior too. I was back and forth on if I wanted to put Furiosa here, but maybe I'm just like I'm a modern boy. But the
yeah,
way that he's done the last two are just way more dynamic and way more like
hmm
intense
yeah,
and gripping than Road Warrior.
definitely.
But
They had a lot more richness to the world. Like Fury Road, not as much. Like the action, obviously, is the what you take away from Fury Road, but like Furiosa is just I don't know. It's on a
yeah,
different level.
it's an extension of Fury Road, which is a great thing to say. You know, like it's
Yeah,
like
obviously.
continuing all the same like power and energy, and it's got its own story and its own like world building. And Road Warrior, I want to give it the credit it deserves. Like it does have the first like road tanker sequence that is like
Yeah,
when you watch it, you're like, oh shit, that's Fury Road. You know, like
yeah,
so it's the closest you could do to Fury Road in the 80s or whatever, you know. So
definitely.
he did it. He did the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of standard. The first hours, it's just like boring and it's not. It's old. It's old,
yeah,
but it's good. It's still good.
yeah, yeah. I agree. That's another thing about the original that I felt it really dragged into like the last 30 minutes when
Oh
Mad
yeah,
Max finally his family finally dies. Thank you for dying for the cause. Now we
please.
have some action.
Yeah, no,
So
it's pretty. It's hard to watch that one too. I'd say at
yeah,
times. Yeah, but I mean, Fury Road number one, right? You
yeah,
just can't stop
yeah.
it. I wish I could maybe just on more watches because like I listened to some people talk about Fury Road and it's like this seminal movie of like the 2000s, and I'm like I can see it, but it's like I don't feel it. You know, I don't. I wish I could
Yeah.
feel it, but I love
I'm
it still.
definitely I'm interested because the big picture they did their rankings with Chris and Sean and get the other girl that's on there, Mallory. I'm gonna listen to that now. I didn't want it to affect my opinion on them, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna listen and see what they have to say.
for
But
sure.
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that a lot of people. It's like Furiosa is one of those, or at least so far it seems. It's like you love it or you hate it. And the big takeaway that I've seen people not liking is like, why is it called a Mad Max saga? I'm like, okay, you fucking
There,
losers. Listen,
those people are the reason why he had to put the Fury Road clips into the end of the fucking movie,
yeah,
which I did not
exactly.
like. But like, it's because of those fucking people that are like, wait, what? Why is this?
Yeah.
Where does this
Where's
play?
Max in this Mad Max saga?
Yeah,
First off, Fury Road is basically a Furiosa movie. Let's be
yeah,
fucking
100%.
honest.
Max is barely
Also,
like doing shit.
Furiosa was written and given to the actors to read before Fury Road. Like,
Hmm.
this was their backstory. I'm pretty sure he wrote a backstory on Max and Furiosa for them to read before they even started Fury Road. So
Hmm.
this was born before all that.
Yeah, it's
So
all in
please,
Miller's head. So it's always been there.
yeah, please don't
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame that they're like, it's not got Mad Max in it, but it doesn't have to. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but all these Mad Max, even the original, is like there's no real continuity. It's just like
Nah,
here's a
it's pretty
clip that's
scattered.
happening in the wasteland with
Yeah.
Max.
And they
You
even
know?
give you like a little that one Mad Max little image, him standing
Yeah,
on the
they do.
cliff with the car, and I'm pretty sure he
Yep.
took Furiosa back to the Citadel.
It seems
That's what I
like they
got
wanted
from
to
that.
say
But
something there. Yeah,
yeah, and she gets brought into that fucking maggot
the
place,
maggot
dude. That
hole.
shit was insane. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that was nuts. But yeah, yeah. And, I mean, it was a great movie.
It
I
was
don't really have much else to
definitely.
say. Unfortunately, it's. I wish it would do a little bit better at the box office, but it's
Yeah,
it's
I
a
don't
hard
think we're
one
gonna see
to
another Mad Max
get.
movie now.
Yeah, I went with Emily, and I think she had a good time, but I could feel like the weirdness and the specificity of that universe. Like, I don't think she understood what the fuck happened at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
she understands that what that movie was, and like I kind of get that to like a general audience sense, but if you're a fan, even on a I'm not even like a deep fan, like I'm a pretty surface level fan for Mad Max, and
yeah,
I loved it. So like you got to be a
yeah.
fan of it kind of already, but
I mean, before Fury Road, I just remember watching. I mean, I've watched them all back when I was young because my dad watched them all the time. But the only one I really remembered was Beyond Thunderdome, just because I feel like that one has the most energy out of all of them. It stands out definitely out of all the old ones. But then obviously when Fury Road came out, that was like a whole new level of like this is this is Mad Max, for
oh
me.
yeah, for
So,
sure,
you
for
know.
sure. Yeah.
It's kind of like the War Boys. He was kind of like trying to get there with the one boy who was in Thunderdome, where he had the black eyes and white makeup on.
Hmm.
So it's like he wanted something like this, so he
Got a
just
little
took that
nuggets.
image and
Yeah.
yeah, created the War Boys. But
Yeah. I heard that you had another idea for another one. I guess maybe we'll get it in a book form or some shit someday, just hear what
if he
happens.
makes another one, a Max movie with Tom Hardy, I would accept that and be
There you
done.
go. Yeah.
But I just don't think it's going to happen.